Welcome back to Music Theory 1. This is Chapter 8, Dots. So this is another relatively quick video on rhythm. And last time we were looking at ties, which we were able to use to extend note values to whatever we wanted. But dots form a very useful shorthand that work within a bar. You will remember that ties can work over the bar. The basic rule is that a dot adds half as much again. So if we wanted to combine with a tie, we can create a minim and a tie to a crotchet. Here's the same as a dotted minim. 3 beats. We could have a semi-breve attached to a minim. This is going to be a dotted minim, which we won't meet in grade 1 because we don't have any bars that are long enough to take 6 beats, but you should know that it is possible nonetheless. And similarly, we can tie a crotchet to a quaver. We did that last time, and we know that that is 1.5 beats, but we could also write that as a dotted crotchet. And we can do a dotted quaver, which is, I got ahead of myself there, quaver tied to a semiquaver, which gives us the same thing, dotted quaver, which is 3/4 of a beat. Okay. You can also, of course, dot a semiquaver, which would be 3/8 of a beat, but we don't meet that in grade 1. We can also do this with rests as well. So we would have a dotted minim rest. We can have a dotted semi-breve rest. We have no need for it in grade 1. We don't need a 6-beat rest for anything, but it does exist. We can have a dotted crotchet rest, and we can have a dotted quaver rest as well. They're not so common. They are used sometimes as shorthand. Generally, we don't use them very often though. We tend to write the 2 rests next to each other for reasons of legibility. Now, one of the things you might have been yelled at by a conductor over the years is that something is a dotted rhythm. Now, a dotted rhythm refers to following up one of these patterns with its what we would call completing rhythmic value. So for example, let's imagine ourselves in 4/4 and we have a dotted minim. The thing that is left over in that bar, there is space for a crotchet, which gives us overall a dotted rhythm. Okay, with a ratio of 3:1. 1, 2, 3, and then there is beat 4. Okay. And you might think, Callum, well, this is not very interesting. I can understand this before. I've probably sung things like that before. Great. But it gets a little bit more interesting as we get into faster tempos. So if I come down, and I'm going to stay in 4/4 for now, let's look at what happens with a dotted crotchet and its completing rhythm. So this is 1.5 beats, so why don't we have a quaver after it? And then let's repeat that pattern. So we've got 2 3-1 relationships. So we've got 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So ta, ti ta, ti ta. Particularly if I add a crotchet, let's say at the end, to just give it a landing place. And if I tap the beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, ta, ti ta, ti ta. We have a nice clear relationship there, and a nice kind of, we're beginning to get into almost a groove. It's not quite interesting enough to be a groove, but this is what is called a dotted rhythm. And even more common when we think of dotted rhythms is the classic dotted quaver rhythm in this kind of movement. So I'm going to beam these together. So we can beam dotted notes together like this. So we've got a dotted quaver followed by a semiquaver, and in 4/4 we would have 4 of these together. And usually in a dotted rhythm, a lot of the time we have the dotted one first and the short one after. We don't have to. We could change the rhythm up, but this is the classic dotted rhythm. I'm going to put another strong beat just to finish it, just like I did before. And this is 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1. And it works like this: 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. T, to T, to T, to T. It's quite military. This is quite a common dotted rhythm. And notice how the short note is tucked onto the next one. When I sing it, obviously it's tucked with a beam onto the previous one when we draw it. Okay, so here's the principles of dots, and as you might imagine, it's time for some exercises. And as I say, I reckon this one's pretty easy. I'm just gonna move this up a little bit. I should. Ooh, no, I don't want the same thing yet. I want the exercise. Here we go. Should be able to fit this in here. It's probably going to be big enough to be stretched out, but it's not really a problem, is it? So here we go. We know that if a dotted minim lasts 3 crotchets, it must last double the number of quavers because they have a 2-to-1 relationship. Quavers, 2 quavers in every crotchet, so 3 crotchets means 6 quavers there. And a dotted crotchet is going to last 3 quavers. Okay. Now this one's a little bit more mathematical here. I promise it won't get too mathsy going forward, but a little bit here. A dotted crotchet is the same as 1 1/2 crotchets. And a dotted quaver is the same as 3 semiquavers. And a dotted minim, well, it was worth 6 quavers, so it must be worth 12 semiquavers altogether. And we can look at that we can just see that happening if you want. Let's look at a bar of 3/4 with a dotted minim in it. And we can put 3 crotchets underneath to show where the beats are. 1, 2, 3. And then we can show 1 and 2 and 3 and there you go. There's your 12 semiquavers fitting into 1 dotted minim. A little bit of revision there about the dotted rests and so on, and a bit of spacing, a bit of handwriting tips. Okay, let's move on. I think that went pretty well. So we can move on to another exercise where we have to add some dots in order to make bars complete where necessary. And then we've got a very interesting a little exercise afterwards, which is our first time we've got some exercises with some actual composers who wrote the little excerpts, so that was quite nice. Okay, so exercise 2 says add dots where necessary. The example doesn't need a dot, that's completed. They've got a dotted minim worth 3 beats, 1, 2, and 3, and a crotchet on the 4th beat worth 1 beat, so we have a complete bar. Now here we have 1 and a half beat, so that doesn't make 2, which is what we need. So we need to, if we add half as much again to the crotchet, we would get 1 1/2 beats plus a half equals 2, so that's good. So we end up with 1, 2, and like this. Okay, so do. Here we've got what looks like a classic dotted rhythm at the beginning, but we can see there's only a 2-to-1 relationship. So if we count up very carefully, you'll see that we've got 2 beats on the minim, we've got half a beat on the quaver at the beginning, and a quarter a beat there. So we are 2 3/4 beats all together. So we are missing a quarter beat, and quarter is half of a half. So if we add half as much again onto that quaver, we are complete. There we go, and this is 1. So the and part of the long note at the bottom, the E, and then we've got 2, 3 to close the bar and give us a complete bar of 3, 4. Awesome. Now we can see here we've got a tie going onto a quaver, which is quite interesting, but we've got 1 and 2, and then there's the and, but look, this is a little quarter beat at the end, so we are a quarter beat short overall. 2 quavers make 1 beat, crotchet makes beat 2. This is not the and, this should be where the 3 is. So we can think of this as another half, so we're ending up at, so far, 2 1/2 beats, and then another quarter, 2 3/4 beats, so we need another quarter beat, which we can do by adding a dot to quaver. So we get this little tune. 1 and 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. And here, 1, 2, 3, and so that bar is complete. It's this last bar, which we only got 1 and 2 so far. We need to add a dot to make that into a 3rd beat, half as much again as that minim being the crotchet that we would add. Okay, awesome. So in E we actually need to increase 2 different notes, because in the first one we can see that this is a complete beat at the end of the bar. This is 2 and 2 and up, yeah. So we've got this 3-to-1 relationship at the end of the bar, classic dotted rhythm, and we actually need the same relationship at the beginning of the bar, even though the first note is a rest rather than a note. So that's going to add our extra quarter that we need. So it's 1, 2, 1. 2 And here we notice we have a sort of quarter beat note at the very beginning, followed by a half beat note. That doesn't seem to make a full beat, and then we've got an extra beat at the end. So let's keep that extra beat at the end as we want it, and we know that we need to add another quarter, so that is going to be here. Another semiquaver of worths need to be added. Okay, and then if we get to F, 4/4, 1, 2, and looks so good so far. 3, good, 4, and that bar's complete. That's fine. But here we've got 1 beat there, and then we've got 2 quarters, so that's a half. So 1 half, and then add 2 more is 3.5. So that's going to be the 3/4. But this area is a little half beat missing, so we need to add it on here. So that gives us this, and the rhythm actually ends up like this: 1, 2, and a 3, 4, and it's the whole thing sounds like this: Sol la ti do re mi fa sol la. There we go. Okay, now we've got a beautiful melody by Handel here, and it says put in the bar lines where they are missing. So in our example, we can see there's 3 beats in every bar. They've done it for us. Like this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Notice the ties there that we learned about last time. From Ombra mai fu, lovely aria from Circe. That's Xerxes in Italian, Circe. It's not Circe as in Odysseus, it's Xerxes, the Persian king. Anyway, a little piece by Franck here, César Franck. I think it's César rather than the other Franck. The Dole's Lament, 2/4, so 1, good, 2, 1, 2, and right, that's the end. We're out of beats by that point. 1 and 2, okay, there we go, and then 1 and 2. Nicely solving that problem. Remember, do have a go at these yourself before I write the answers in. I know I'm going quite quickly, just to keep the overall time low. And exercise 3B here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and bar line. Good. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and yeah. So there needs to be a bar line there. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. These exercises are actually quite easy if you just write the sequence out. It's more difficult when you have to complete them with some missing values. And here are the tunes for A, and I'm not going to do the first one because it's such a long note. Well, I could actually. Why not? It goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The next one goes like this: 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and the final one, maybe I'll cap the rhythm, the beats this time, and sing just the notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bit of falsetto there, wasn't very pleasant for anybody, I imagine. There is a little bit more of this exercise to complete before we can move on to the end of the class today. So a few more of those to solve. So we have some Bach next, and some other little goodies. Let's It's nice to see some real music, isn't it? Here we have, so first from Bach, from number 4 of the 6 Preludes, BWV 936. So let's go, pause the video, have a go yourself, and here are the answers. 1, 2, 1, and 2, and so bar line, 1 and 2, and bar line, 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and there's another bar line, and we're good. Notice the incomplete bar at the end when they've said etc. No bar line. Now some Purcell, maybe, as some people say. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Bar line. 1, 2, and 3, and bar line. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. And E, and we're in 4/4. That's C. Remember that C means 4/4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm trying not to sing this tune. 1, it's addictive. 1, so 1, not an and. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Bar line. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we are over. It's the second tune from the Hebrides. So F, Swing Low Sweet Chariot, 4/4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bar line. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and bar line. 1 and 2, 3, and 4. Bar line. There we go. And then Ravel Bolero, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, and 2. I'm even singing it. 3, and bar line. 1, and 2, 3. Bar line. We can have a bar line through a tie. There's nothing stopping us doing that. 1, and 2, and 3. There we go. And just singing these tunes for you before we finish. The Bach goes 1, 2. La re la 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 pa pa da pa pa da pa pa da pa pa da. And the Purcell. 1, 2, 3. Da 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 da. Dum pum 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 pum. And the Hebrides Overture, which you probably know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Tune ya da dee da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da da da. And you'll probably be singing that all night now. Then Swing Low Sweet Chariot. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. And swing low, sweet chariot. I've forgotten the words. Let's try that again. I won't try to sing the words. It goes. And then the final one from Ravel. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And that's it. Those are all complete bars. That's it for ties. See you in the next one.